This is the audio board. It looks very daunting because it's so large, but honestly, there are really just a few numbers and levers that you need to use in order to accomplish the announcements. If we have two anchors, we will go over to levers 1 and 2. In order for them to be heard, we have to push the PFL buttons. PFL buttons are located on the bottom. I will hit microphone 1 and microphone 2. I would have to unmute them in order for them to be heard for the recording. We might still be able to hear them when they are not being recorded even on mute in the actual booth, but for the recording itself, it wouldn't make a difference. The levers themselves need to be at about the U mark. At the U mark is where they should be in order for them to be at about the best level that you can get, but you still may need to adjust their volume, and that's where you would go up to the top of the actual audio board and you would adjust the gain. You would either adjust the gain knob right to make them louder or left to make them lower. How do I know if they're loud enough? I actually have to go over to the levels to make sure that they are loud enough. The levels are right here, and what I need to do is they need to be showing up on both sides to be heard on the announcements. Oh, well, the one side on the right is not showing up, so I must have something wrong. So I'm going to go over to the mute buttons because I know that if I undo the mute buttons, they would be able to be recorded and both sides of the levels should appear. So I see on the left there is sound and on the right there is some sound. They're really not practicing much. The sound levels should be at about the 0 decibel point. The other place that I need to determine for sound itself is the Edirol. The Edirol is in the middle of the audio board. I also have to adjust the gain for the Edirol. You might say, what is the Edirol? Well, the Edirol is when we actually have the playout, the videos that we all created in class. That's where we'll hear the sound for those. So, if, Justin, could you play the Edirol? Okay, there you go. So here we have the Edirol. I actually have the volume down kind of low, but if I needed to adjust the Edirol, I would go up to the gain on, it's the third one, 1, 2, 3, and I would adjust the gain there. And we would be able to hear the sound but see the sound. I'm looking at the sound here and it's pretty loud, so I would need to adjust, and the reason I know it's loud is can you keep playing it?
Oh, sorry, yeah.
It's because it exceeds the 0 decibel points. So I would have to turn the knob down, and then I look back at the levers, and it's under the 0 mark. So that's great. That's exactly what I want to do. Some other aspects about the soundboard that I need to know is I need to have the speakers on. I would have to push the button on the speaker here and the button on the speaker here. Then I know I can actually hear the sound. There is a talkback also on the soundboard, and that's when I need to use the microphone to talk to people in the studio. So let's see what else. We don't hear everybody right now because I turned them down so you could hear me, but this is the main speaker system I'm going to turn them off, the main speakers in this actual studio, in the control booth. If I have the phones on and I have the studio speakers on, I might actually get some feedback. So I would probably want to have those both down all the way. These two, this one and this one. The solo should be at about the 0 mark, and then you shouldn't have any problems with your sound. If you are doing a wireless mic, which maybe you're doing in front of the green screen, you would hit the wireless mic PFLs to hear anybody on a wireless mic. The same thing would happen here, where you would adjust the gain up on top of the soundboard. If the only other time that we really use this is for the vocal booth, where we do the sound booth. If we were doing the sound booth, we would do the same thing. We would hit the PFLs for the sound booth, the vocal booth, and adjust the gains up on top. Overall, once you get everything set up and you check the volumes of everything on the audio board, you really only need to adjust the gain here and there if people get very loudly while they're talent, or if the videos that we're playing back are of different sound volumes. So that's the audio board.